Hey guys, it's RodimusPrimal. I am back with another video, and today I'm going to be reviewing for you guys the Transformers War for Cybertron's Leader Class Galvatron. And of course, I've already taken him out of the box because I wanted to take a look to make sure whether or not he had bad shoulders. Which, of course, I will show you. He actually does have the bad shoulder problem. And I got it from my subscriber, Harry Weldon. I want to thank you very much for sending it to me. And, of course, taking a look at that awesome package art. You have the Matrix of Leadership on a chain, which is a great little accessory. Of course, he transforms into his cannon mode. And, yeah, the packaging art on him looks amazing. But without further ado, so sit back, relax, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchasing some merch on my spring store today. Okay, so here is Galvatron as he looks out of the package. And I will say, I am very impressed with this figure overall. There is a few QC issues and a few other problems with this figure that some people may have a problem with, and there are fixes for it. Some are harder than others. And of course, I've also seen a lot of the upgrade kits and the Toy Hacks labels, but I wanted to review this toy before I did any further modification to it, just so you can kind of get a gist of what the figure looks like and the ups and the downs about whether or not you should get it. And with this particular pose, really kind of shows off the articulation of the figure, is that how he can bend his elbows and how he can turn his wrists and how he can have his legs and his stability. And that's one of the things about this particular figure, is that the stability is much better on this figure than on previous releases of Galvatron, especially that old Classics figure and the Titans Return figure, even though I customized it, because man, that Titans Return figure just did not want to stand. And when I show you guys comparisons, you'll be able to see it. But the figure itself here, like I said, is a very cool looking figure. You can pose him in a lot of cool different ways. He does have, you know, elbow articulation and wrist articulation. The arm cannon itself obviously is removable, and he also has head swivel. It is on a ball joint, of course, does have a little bit of movement. And then of course this piece here, this I kind of wish was a little bit taller. And again, I've seen the upgrade kits for it, but it's just kind of like something that you kind of deal with this particular figure. He has the heel spurs there that help him, you know, and of course the ankle tilt in order to have that stability. The one thing you'll probably notice right away when you get this figure out of the package, no matter whether or not you have a good one or not, is the battle damage here on the shins and on the chest, as well as on the forearms, of all places. Like these places of battle damage just make no sense to me, and I'm gonna end up taking a bottle of 91% isopropyl alcohol with probably a Q-tip or like a paper towel and just kind of wipe away that battle damage. The other thing you'll probably also notice is the fact that I do have a bad shoulders version of Galvatron. The thing about this particular figure is that the tank treads, even though they're not really meant to do so, you can kind of stick the tank treads in the back section there. So if you do this quick, easy fix, obviously you're going to have the fix that, you know, works, that shows off the pin here. And a lot of people will see, okay, that's how the shoulder is supposed to be assembled. It's supposed to be smooth on the top, but then of course you lose the functionality of this. But then again, if you do have this pegged in here, you lose the bicep swivel, and that is something that you kind of have to take, you know, with you, whether or not you choose to do the other fix. The other fix that you can do, and this is something that Patriot Prime actually showed in one of his videos, is that he actually got this from Napa. It is the third toolkit right here, this one right here, and basically what you would do is you would stick it into this spot right here and kind of pry open the shoulders. But before doing so, you're going to want to use a hair dryer, and I'm not going to do it on camera. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to end up taking it apart myself and then actually showing you what the finished result is, maybe, you know, in photos. But like, that's the thing, is like, you know, you get the figure and you're like, oh man, this figure is awesome, and then you see some of the the bad battle damage that they add on, and then of course the misassembly with the shoulders. I do know that the Generation Selects version of the figure will have corrected shoulders. Man, this is like one of those things that's kind of like you really wish that they had gotten this, taken care of, right ahead of time. He also comes with a couple of different accessories. First and foremost is his blasters. This is the first one here. There's actually two of them. It's kind of shaped like the Revenge, which is his ship in Transformers the movie, and that is kind of what it's designed to be as. I know the Toy Hacks labels that I've seen, I think you're able to like put a sticker on it, but he comes with two of them. So you could, if you wanted to, have him wield one and be able to hold it to blast, but then it's like, okay, so he's basically holding his ship as a cannon. Or you can attach them here together as one blaster. There. And this is what he looks like, obviously holding his railgun. And then the other thing is that if you want to have this in storage, me personally, I'm just going to put it in like in a bin where all my spare parts are for different Transformers. But this, you can actually attach it here on the back of him. And the instructions tell you to use the slots here on the bottom. There's also a slot right here. And if you decide to do so, you could either put it up here like this, where it's sitting up high, and then it sticks out, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. Or you can do what I try to do, is put it right into the peg hole right there. And I'm gonna do so for the other one. The thing, of course, is try to make sure that they're both secure, and then it doesn't look so bad. And it actually kind of looks, kind of decent. So you can have that if you want to have storage. His other accessory is the Matrix of Leadership. And the reason why he actually got the Matrix of Leadership for this particular figure is that he also comes with a chain accessory, because if you remember in Transformers the movie, he got the Matrix of Leadership from Ultra Magnus and brought it to Unicron, and it has a decent size, I think it's a 5mm port there for the chain, and you can attach it there and hanging around his chest. And that is something that he did in Transformers the movie. The one thing I do wish this figure had that it doesn't, and a lot of other leader figures had it, Optimus Prime has it, and of course the commander class of Rodimus Prime has it, is I wish he had better fists. These fists are, I don't like them. They're very, very thin, and I wish that they opened up like Optimus or Rodimus did, especially if you want to reenact particular scenes. Like, in other words, in Transformers the movie, when Ultra Magnus loses the Matrix, he kind of throws it up in the air, and he catches it. It would have been awesome to actually have a hand right here. The other thing that I will say, I don't like the color of this Decepticon symbol, and I don't like the shade of purple that they used for this Galvatron. I wish it was a more, I want to say like a movie bluish, it was more of a blue purple instead of using this deep darker purple. But other than that, I mean, the figure is awesome. He is blast effect compatible, of course, so you can, if you want to use the blast effect here, or if you want to go for a different color, which I think looks a little bit better. And then, of course, the color that does match his, I think his blasts were a little bit more purple. This is actually from Scourge, so if you wanted to use that, for his arm cannon there. But like I said, overall, his robot mode is very, very much movie accurate, at least as far as proportions and design, once, of course, the shoulders are fixed. Now for a few quick comparisons, here is Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, Earthrise / Kingdom Optimus Prime, his partner in crime in Transformers Kingdom, Nemesis Prime, Kingdom Leader Class Ultra Magnus, Earthrise Voyager Class Starscream, Studio Series 86 Grimlock, Kingdom Commander Class Rodimus Prime. And take a look at the differences between the matrices, whatever. How this one in particular is a much more darker blue, and whereas this one is a lighter blue. The other thing to take note of with this particular matrix is that the peg hole is smaller. This is actually the one that came with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, and the hole on it is larger than the one that comes with Kingdom Galvatron. So this matrix in particular, for some reason, again, it's like the same matrix, but the peg hole is much smaller. So one of the things that I wanted to do, and I wanted to take pictures of with Rodimus Prime was to take the Matrix of Leadership itself and actually put it onto the Sword of Primus, and you can do that with Kingdom Rodimus Prime's sword. So you could reenact the whole idea of maybe like by the power of Primus or something like that, like I did with my Kingdom Rodimus Prime with a bunch of different, pictures, and it still looks really, really cool regardless. Siege Megatron, taking a look at his previous incarnations of G1 Megatron, the Takara reissue G1 movie accurate Galvatron, Generation Selects G2 Megatron with the upgrade kit from Larkin's Lair, and for the final comparison, my Titans Return customized Galvatron. And this is where I really wanted to draw in some of the differences between the two, why I definitely think this one is much more recommended, especially how much work I had to put into this figure. I had to get a 3D printed head, I had to paint it, I had to paint the back there, which I might actually do with this Galvatron, and then of course right then and there, you can see stability. He does not stand up well at all because of these weird feet, whereas this one has good heel spurs that keep him up, plus he's much more stocky, so it kind of keeps his stance up. And of course, the back portion here I do wish was a little bit larger on the Kingdom figure, but of course I've seen the upgrade kits for it, and you can see I'm already having a difficult time just keeping him up. This is like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I think I can do away with this figure now, after having already done all of the changes that I've made to it. So moving on to transformation, what we're going to start off with is with the arms, we are going to take the fists and put them in, and then we are going to take apart the shoulders itself. This is kind of like one of the things that the first thing that you start to do is you pull apart the shoulders, take off the arm cannon, put that right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pull the chest back, or the back of the back, and then from here, this whole section will come loose. You can open it, and the whole chest assembly and head will go into the cavity right there. You then pull the chest down a little bit, so just so it lines up so that you can close that over. From here, what you're going to do is the legs themselves, we're going to take the heel spurs, tilt them in. I'm going to take the purple joints away here so that they're not connected. And then I'm going to turn the feet in like so. And the reason why is because they are going to connect. But before you do, you kind of want to pull this whole assembly down. And the reason why is because these spurs are supposed to keep everything in check when he is in cannon mode. And from there, then we're going to bring it all together like so. Once that's done, we're going to take the purple sections there for the back of the legs and kind of put them to the side, and there's a reason for that, and you'll kind of see when it all finishes transforming. Okay, the next thing that we're going to need to do is to get this purple section out of the way so that we can turn the waist around. The idea being everything kind of lines up like so, and then snaps in together pretty easily, and it's kind of awesome how it does. And then we're going to get the waist flaps out of the way, and then we're going to pull the arm assembly down, the shoulder assembly down, and once that comes down, everything is almost together. We can then take this purple section, bring it up like that, and then this actually connects, the actual, like the waist connection there connects to the shoulder blocks or whatever you want to call them. And the last step that I probably should have done ahead of time was to put the shoulders and forearms together, get the tank treads together, like so. And we're going to do the same thing for this side. I'm going to see it on camera. And oops, like so. And that is the completed cannon mode without anything added extra to it. And then you're going to do is you're going to take the cannon, the arm cannon itself. It splits into two pieces, very much like the G1 toy. This time, this section actually has a bit of storage. It can actually go up here, which is awesome, by the way. And then you can actually put the cannon in like so. And in cannon mode, he looks awesome. Like this is a much better looking, much more stable looking cannon that, you know, I've kind of been waiting for Galvatron. Of course, this is where all the stability is, right here in these feet and the spurs that kind of stick out, which is great because in order to actually have him transform into his cannon mode is awesome. And I think that you can, if you wanted to, because of the way that the whole articulation is on it, you can kind of get him in a, you know, from the movie in '86, he tilted up. And if you know where I'm going with this, he can actually tilt in a direction in order to aim at Starscream, which is where a lot of people are waiting for the Studio Series 86 Starscream so that they can reenact the whole scene with his ceremonial gear, let's so to say, with this particular Starscream to get blasted away by Galvatron. Now, one of the other thing is that this cannon mode does have a little bit of weapon storage. You can place the 2 revenge ships here on the pegs on the side if you so desire. You can see here, each of them go on the sides like this. And to be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of it, and I'm probably not going to have these little extra weapons for use with Galvatron. However, the Matrix of Leadership on the chain can attach. You can hang it on the barrel of the cannon, and the whole reason why there is a notch there on his chest in robot mode, of course, is because then the Matrix can actually store to hang just like so. And the reason why they decided to do it this way is because of the G1 toy and also because of Transformers the movie. So when you're comparing G1 Galvatron here in cannon mode, you can see the differences between them. However, as you can see, I have the Matrix of Leadership on a chain dangling off of the reissue Galvatron, which this one was more of a chain, and it was much more of a silver or a chromed out gold color for the Matrix of Leadership, so you can actually at least store it on this version. And for further comparison, there is the Titan's Return Galvatron next to Kingdom Galvatron, and you can really see the Titan's Return cannon mode is not so good. However, there is a third mode on most G1 designed Galvatrons because, as you know, G1 Megatron is supposed to be a gun. That's what he transformed into, and that is why that there is this accessory. Even though here is Siege Megatron in a Cybertronian tank mode, then of course comparing that same tank along with Generation 2 Megatron with the Larkin's Lair cannon, and this way you can kind of see all 3 of them in cannon mode. But anybody familiar with Generation 1 Megatron or Galvatron knows that G1 Galvatron, as an upgrade to Megatron, still had a gun mode. It was a Space Blaster mode, and this is basically it in a nutshell. And of course, this is what it looks like if you have the reissue Galvatron in gun mode. And Titan's Return tried to get away with it by making it a spaceship mode, which of course you've probably seen fans do something like this to try and reenact that, but it really doesn't work very well. Now, if you really wanted to try and make this somewhat of a gun mode, you could try and pull off the same maneuver as the original toy did. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the feet up like so. We are going to move these out of the way, very much the same way. Actually, we're going to go this way. Yep. So this is how the gun would probably go, upside down. So I'm going to turn these arms around like so. And I guess you can kind of call this a pseudo gun mode if you wanted to. Of course, if there was an upgrade kit to the handle, you could actually hold something along the lines there. And this doesn't, I'm not sure if I mistransforming it somewhere. I'm sure someone's going to leave a comment that I mistransformed it with the chest not connecting when in cannon mode, because when it's like this, it's not really a big deal, but when it's upside down, of course, it's loose. But this would be probably your best bet here. Further size comparisons, here is Kingdom Galvatron with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, Kingdom Ultra Magnus, Earthrise / Kingdom Optimus Prime, the War for Cybertron Trilogy's Nemesis Prime, Commander Class Rodimus Prime, Studio Series 86 Grimlock, and of course he wouldn't be complete without his troops, Cyclonus and Scourge. Overall, despite all of the QC issues and little problems here or there that I may have with the colors or choice of paint, I still think that Kingdom Galvatron is a phenomenal figure. It is finally the Galvatron figure that we've been waiting for. I've been hearing a lot of talk about the fact that maybe the next production run on this figure is going to have, the corrected shoulders. We already know that the Generation Selects version, which is more of a G1 toy accurate color, is going to have that corrected shoulder problem fixed. So I definitely say, get this figure. It is definitely worth it. But I wonder what you guys think. What do you think of Transformers Kingdom Leader Class Galvatron? Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. Check out my other videos as well. I have many more Transformers discussions, retrospectives, interviews, and more coming down the pipeline. So stay tuned for all of that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.